Yellow. Last time on Xenogears. Yeah. Last time on Xenogears we had the tournament. Alright, let me get one thing set up really quick and we're good. Alright, so I don't have a particular idea as far as how long I want this stream to be. This could very well end up 2 or beyond midnight. I just have a certain kind of stopping point in my head I definitely want to get through because this is actually one of my favorite stretches of the game story. Not my absolute favorite, one of my favorites. This is there's some really good stuff coming up. Hopefully, the goal is we'll get to meet my second favorite character in this game. If Ellie's my favorite character, and my wife, etc., etc., and today we're going to be meeting my second favorite character. Alright, so we're in the City of Peace. We just got back to Nissan. I'm gonna be here for a while. Maybe. We'll see what happens. We got a lot of big story stuff coming up. A lot of cutscenes, a lot of big story stuff. Alright, so let's just get right into it. I'm not going to try to delay any time, let's just right into going back to Nissan. Okay, so first of all, the Nissan music is really good. I like Nissan overall. It's probably my favorite of all of the countries in this game. Well, no, that's not true. Never mind. One of my favorites. It's just a very, like, relaxing place to go back to after going out and fighting all the time. Nissan is a relaxing place of peace you can go back to. Separated from the war, although still very integrally involved in the war, just kind of in a tertiary way. Allied with Ave, obviously, because of the deep connections between the Great Mother of Nissan, Marguerite, and the Fatima family. But either way, the Fatima family also, I don't know when we learned this, but they kind of wanted the war to end. So, wait, I'm missing one part of the recap? On the head, yeah. Yeah, you did it on the tail, you did it on the head. Alright. Wow, it's been such a long time since I left here. You've been kidnapped for that long? Well, I guess, like, to a child, like, a couple of months is a pretty long time. Oh, it's Crazy Revenger. Yeah, Dan. I don't like Dan. Dan is one of my least favorite characters in this game. Not as bad as Choo Choo. But I don't like Dan very much. His character arc is fine. It's like they're kind of trying to go with like what they ended up doing with Yorin with him, but it like not near as well. He's whatever. Not saying he becomes a bad guy or anything. I'm just like his arc isn't developed. We don't actually see him again until like near the end of the game. Okay. Anyway. Well, first of all, we should accompany Marguerite up to meet the sisters. Huh? What is it, old Mason? Goodness gracious me. To think that little Miss Marguerite is finally able to return here. It is so awfully moving. Hey, pull yourself together, old man! Forgive me. How terribly embarrassing. I couldn't help it. I shall go back and give some instructions to the men who left on the ship. Please, young master, go ahead and escort Miss Marguerite up to see the sisters. Excuse me now. Okay, so one other thing about Nissan. Nissan, like Ave and Kislev, is named after a month of the Jewish calendar. Ave was, of course, a mistranslation of Av, which is a month of the Jewish calendar, and Kislev is just Kislev. But Nissan is also another month of the Hebrew calendar. That's kind of a common theme you're going to see with a lot of location names in this game. There are like 3 other location names in this game that are named after months of the Jewish calendar. Mr. Pirate, will you let me ride in your ship someday? Haha, maybe when you get a little older, kid. Yeah, I don't think Bart really has to hide his identity here much. These people tend to be on his side. There's a lot of anti-Shakan rebels here already. Since Bart is the original Zeke, what would Bart's mascot animal be since Zeke has the turtle? Marcy's come back. Alright, that one I actually gotta think about. Actually, no, I do have an answer, but it would be spoilers, so I'm not gonna say it. I'll wait on that. Very sorry, but we're all full. As an apology, please accept this. Special herb tea. Nice. Reduced weight of it. Nice. So that kind of made up for the meal that the characters had last time. Through a special arrangement with the town representatives, we're getting lodging. So these are actually the same Abe soldiers that that the Idrisil rescued from the sinking Abe transport ship earlier on. So now they're all staying here. Rumor that there are pirates in the royal capital true. What do you mean? No, it's not a bunny. No. That's from Xenosaga, the bunny thing. Hey. It isn't my young lord. I hear you gave them quite a show this time. Shh, keep it down. My true identity is supposed to be a secret. Oh, okay, he is still trying to keep it a secret. What if this is fair. What if a spy from the royal capital snuck in and heard you? That's fair. I thought about that. Okay. Kids playing right here. There aren't quite as many, like, fun mini-games or whatever in Nissan. It's more boring, I guess, in some way than Bledovik, but... Out of the way! Out of the way! I'm gonna get you! It does the heart good to see the innocent play of children. Alright, old geezer. What are you saying? Alright, can I get behind you? A Dinosaurus. That's a big animal to have. Be your mascot. Sorry, but please don't talk to me now. Yesterday morning's view from the lake. I'm remembering the sensation of that light. He's a painter. They can relate. He's got a lot of paintings here. Can we see these up close? Or... No, we can in Faye's bedroom back in Lahan. Or could, I should say. Not quite. Actually, Nissan is a pretty popular place among artists. Part of the reason is the scenery, but it's mostly because of the portrait of the Great Mother that is said to be in the cathedral. Fortunately, the public is not permitted to go see it. That, of course, means that we will see it at some point. Oh, did he? I didn't even see that. It's like I stuck in the statue. The town representatives have been in discussion at the assembly hall since this morning. I hear they're talking about a plan to deal with the troops from Ave. Some of them think the return of Margie is a nuisance. I understand why everyone is worried. Shouldn't we be counting our blessings that the Great Mother resides in Nissan? Oh, okay. So they're concerned about some of the Ave soldiers we picked up moving in here. That's fair. And also some of the rebels. Sure. Yeah, one thing I really like about Nissan and Xenogears overall, there are people who tend to think that Xenogears, especially like later on, and people that there tends to be this narrative that's propagated about, especially in the game's like development. This is the reason why the translation was so dodgy and there's only one person to do it, because there's kind of this narrative that tends to be brought about that Xenogears is somehow anti-religion, or that has like contemporary anti-religious commentary. It's actually not. It's much more nuanced than that. I'll talk about that in a minute. Hello, Grandma. Hey, aren't you the young master? Hey, you! Huh? Huh? It's Bartholomew! Are you doing well? Good enough. Don't try to overdo it. Hey, are those your friends back there? Yeah, Faye and Titan. Friends of the young master are friends of ours. Take your time and look around. Thanks. Good to hear. You have anything for us? Come on in. Shop. But yeah, it's not actually anti-religious. I think that's a way too simplistic of a way to look at it. Because if you look at this game, in actuality, what we know so far, of course there's things that we don't know, but what we know so far, there are two main religious institutions in the Xenogears world. We have the Ethos, which is like a big institution. We don't know a whole lot about it quite yet. We haven't been to their headquarters yet. That's going to be a later part of the game. We know that Dazzle was like one of their big outposts for the excavations, but we haven't been to their actual headquarters yet. Look at my power rings and speed rings here. I'm going to save my stuff for Gears. But it's like a really big institution. They're very powerful. They are in charge of preserving culture. They have like all the cultural records from the world. They distribute weaponry between the two countries. They're in charge of gear excavations. They're in charge of a lot of things. We don't know a whole lot more. Again, we don't know a lot about them. We just know kind of the things we've heard from Dazzle. But we know that they are kind of an integral part of the war. More about that later. So, in the Ethos, we know actually teaches evolution. It's kind of it's a kind of a progressive church in that way. It teaches evolution. We all heard that from Old Man Bao. Old Man from the gun room sent me for your supplies. If you want, I can also. Oh, this is the gear shop. Sure. So there's a good juxtaposition between that religious institution, which is, I mean, you can probably guess it's corrupt in some ways. It's funding the war. It's funding and benefiting from the war. Well, maybe, benefiting may be a stretch, but definitely funding the war. There's a kind of a juxtaposition between that and the religious institution here in Nissan. Nissan, for all intents and purposes, is also a religious community, but it's kind of a grassroots religious community rather than an organized church. So what Xenogears is really saying, I think what Xenogears is more so critiquing institutions and like power structures more than it's critiquing religion itself, because obviously Nissan is an example of religion being a good factor that can actually unite people. And we have this cool little community here, and a lot of people can kind of rally behind this. There wasn't anything in the gear shop that was worth getting anyway. I'll save up my money. But yeah, so it's not as simple or clear-cut as this game is anti-religion or pro-religion or whatever. It's just critiquing institutions. This is kind of one of the big messages of this game. This game has a lot of really messaging and themes, and we'll get into all that, but somehow I don't think that is. Yeah. Is he talking about Shakan? That man. I mean Shakan, yeah, I figured. Yes, it's alright to try and revenge your father, but I don't think things will be that easy, though. Of course not. I won't hurt anyone. I want you to know I'm always thinking about that. Your best. Good. Yeah, so we heard some people doing some assembly in the town, or the assembly hall. People were talking about what to do with the current situation. The rebels coming in, with new people settling in, and all that. How's Bloodovik? It's under martial law, so it's gotten progressively harder to contact our agents in the city. According to the info we finally got just a while ago, there's no major activity. I think they found some reason to attack and are getting ready now. The possibility exists. However, I've heard that Shakan's power bases in the capital is eroding away. It's probably weaker than we thought. Anyway, it's happened and we're committed now. I feel the same way. Now that I think about it, 12 years ago, ever since the coup d'etat by Shakan, there's been a lot of tension in our country. With Marguerite back now, I agree that the former dynasty should be returned to power. Everyone feels the same, but we must look at reality. Do we have the strength to do that now? Now I hear Bartholomew, the one who brought back Marguerite, has started moving around out in the open. I'm certain Shakan is preparing a large army. Shakan may be coming here soon. That's a devastating thought. Shakan may be in pursuit of Bard at the moment. What's going to happen to us if he captures this area? Will everyone be killed? I seriously doubt that. Even he won't want to risk provoking any kind of outrage with the citizens. Especially in this situation, he will definitely want to avoid putting himself in a compromising situation. We should set up a hiding place just in case. Maybe there. That's some light foreshadowing. Please, don't either of you talk about this in front of Margie. She's only just got back from her long time in captivity. I don't want her to have to worry. I want her to be happy for a little longer. Good man. You should not be overly worried yourself. You've just got to think about what is best for the future of this land. What is done. You only did what you believed was right. Put the past behind you. Huh. I'm alright. Don't worry about Bart worrying about things. I think he's not one to dwell on that kind of stuff too long. I've had enough troubles. I just want to live life peacefully. Amen. Don't we all? Fuck you. Just yeah. You were over in a different area before. Yeah. From the Royal Army stationed down south. I may work for the current government, but my heart belongs to Nissan. I cannot desert it. So he's one of the rebels that moved here, I guess. Here there are lots of people like me who are gathering here, people who are dissidents of the new regime after the fall of the Fatima dynasty. I'm waiting here until something starts happening. People who really don't like Shakan and want the Fatimas back. So you're the ones? Everyone in town is talking about you. Something about the Great Mother returning? Since they call her the Great Mother, she must be really old and frail. She's right here. Talking about? Okay, whatever. What's in this house? Whatever happens, I'll never move from here. Well, that's one way to live. Never have to suffer, I guess. Before I go with Margie, I'm gonna go back and check what's over this way. I think this is just a way out to the little world. This land extends all the way out around the lake, which extends all the way around the cathedral. Just for fun, you might want to go all the way around by yourself. Not that there's much to see at all, mind you. Yeah, you can kind of go all the way around the lake here. No other areas to see. It's just all the places within the city. There's like 3 entrances, I think. I think we've seen all of the city, or like not really much of a city, like the main part of the town. Oh, Bart, I'm glad you're well. People at the hidden port contacted us just before you came into town. I've already contacted the monastery. Please take Margie up there as soon as possible. She'll be so happy, not to mention the sisters. I must hurry and see the sisters. You go all the way around the area and get hit by a random encounter. That's about right. No random encounters on this map, though. Now we can go inside the cathedral. Margie! I guess I should do a different voice for them. It kind of would be Lahan's Crazy Revenger Dan. Margie! I'm back, everyone! Oh, Margie, we're so glad you're safe. Yes, it is all thanks to Bart and his men. We just received word, so we were singing a hymn of praise and joy. We're so happy. Whoa, what a relief. This is Sister Agnes, is her name. Welcome back, Margie. We had faith that you and your cousin Bart would one day return safely. We and our other friends have been waiting for you. Sister Agnes! Unfortunately, your mother and the blessed royal mother. I know, Sister Agnes. I heard about it at the royal capital. But at least I have made it back. I'll never go anywhere or leave you from now on. I won't make you all worry anymore, ever again. Bless you, my dear. Sister Agnes, this just isn't like you at all. Here I am back safe and sound. Can't you rebuke me just a little for old time's sake? I'm sorry, but I'm just so happy that I cannot help but... Sister... There's no reason to be so solemnly quiet. Well, everyone? To celebrate the return of our dear sister Margie, to celebrate our joy to heaven, let us finish singing our hymn. Thank you, and bless you all. Oh yes, sister. May I go upstairs? It's been oh so long, so I want to have a look around up there, too. Oh, but of course, dear. Don't even think of holding back from anything. Except for one thing. Never stay away so long like that again. I knew you'd say that. Now that's the Agnes I know. Archie, I'm so glad. This place isn't sus. I get your Chrono Trigger temptations, but it's not like that. It's been a while since the last time I was here. Something wrong, Margie? Nothing. It's just... I guess I got a little emotional. Anyhow, take it easy for a while. You've put up with enough, okay? If you're trying to make me cry, you'll fail. Oh yes. I'll show Faye and Sighton around our cathedral. Follow me. What a strong girl she is. It is obvious that she really wants to just break down and cry. Yeah, you're right. It's just the way she has always been. For all her talk, she understands her position well. Maybe there are a few things I could learn from her, too. Strong-willed girl. She and Bart have been through a hell of a lot. The Xenogears lore book, Perfect Works, goes more in depth on like how the coup went down and like all the ways that all the like members of the Fatima dynasty or the Fatima family, the dynasty, it's the same thing, were tortured for information on the Jasper. I can't actually talk to any of them. They're singing. These are not candles, but 2D textures of candles. Okay. Go up to the gallery on the second floor from here. How magnificent! If we ever got scolded for pranks as kids, Bart and I used to hide here. Hey, stop telling those old stories. It's embarrassing. But to me, Bart hasn't changed much since then. What? You mean that you think I'm still a kid? Guess we shouldn't be running in the cathedral, but whatever. Aw, man. Battery's low. Let me fix that really quick. I have a spare USB port on my computer here. You said Sighton is closer to Dunban, but wouldn't Future Redeemed Shulk be close to Sighton as well, since Shulk was like Dunban in Future Redeemed? I guess, in some ways, yeah. Future Redeemed Shulk is probably the closest thing we have to Sighton. And Future Redeemed Shulk was also one to kind of be more involved in things than hide things about himself than we know, because he hid all the information about the two worlds and about Alpha and everything from Matthew until the time came. So yeah, I think that may be probably the best parallel to Xenoblade you can make. I like the view from here the best. I gotta say, I don't think I've praised this enough. The visuals in Xenogears for the time of the PS1 are really, really good. Yes, this is breathtaking. Light from outside shining through the stained glass of the cathedral's front. What a brilliant piece of artistry this is! Did you notice that the two great angels only have one wing each? They're one-winged angels. According to a legend handed down in Nissan, God could have created humans perfectly. But then humans would not have helped each other. So that is what these great single-winged angels symbolizes. In order to fly, they are dependent on one another. Ah, so that is the reason for it. I see. On further inspection, the left angel looks somewhat masculine, while the right one looks somewhat feminine. Now that is an unusual feature, is it not? Usually these depictions are not gender specific, but these angels are clearly distinguishable as having opposing genders. And the space between them is the path from where God advents. Or could it be the path leading to God? Well, I do not know. It could be either, or even both. Now I see. This all coincides with the teachings of Nissan. Why, Dr. Saitanusuki, you are an amusing fellow. Oh, excuse me. It is a habit of mine. The doctor knows a lot about a lot of things. Sometimes I can't even understand what he's saying. Talking about, whatever. Ha! Forcing them to fly together. It would be less bothersome if they could fly on their own, don't you think, Faye? Bart, you missed the deeper meaning and beauty of it. Someday I wish I could be of help to someone like that. Oh, we haven't visited the room of Sophia yet, have we? You're really supposed to go through some procedures before you can see it. But this time I think it will be alright if I make a special exception. Sophia? Yes, Sophia. She is revered as the founding mother of the Nissan nation, and the founder of the Nissan religion who set forth its teachings. There is a special room upstairs that has a portrait of Mother Sophia in it. I would definitely like to view that. Faye, let's go have a look at it. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack. I could spend a long time talking about all of the deeper meanings behind the angel statues. Because there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. But I don't have the time with this stream. All I will say is Xenogears is heavily, has a lot of allusions to philosophy, to psychology, and to religion. And probably at some point, after we finish the playthrough, I'll have a whole stream dedicated to talking about the deeper message and themes behind Xenogears, because that's where this game's beauty shines the brightest. It's very thematically heavy. What I will say is, a lot of those teachings, a lot of the teachings of the Nissan nation that Margie was talking about there, the idea that God created people imperfectly so that they could help each other, and that there's the masculine and feminine dynamic and all that, it's based on a concept from Jungian psychology, the psychology of Carl Jung. Takahashi himself was a big fan of Carl Jung, and it comes up in all of Takahashi's games of some reference to Carl Jung's psychology. Carl Jung had an idea called the divine syzygy. You can look this up. Ideas like the anima and the animus. I'll talk about all of that much later on. Think of it like I said this at the outset of this, but understanding the philosophy and the psychology that this game is based on gives you a whole new appreciation for the actual game's story and what Takahashi is trying to convey with its story. It's almost like when you play Okami, you get a whole new appreciation for the story after knowing all the Shinto mythology and folklore it's based on. It's the same kind of thing with that, but with all the different philosophers and psychologists that this game is based on. Anyway, that's a topic for a long stream much later on, once we see the totality of the story, once we actually see everything. Anyway, let's go into the room of Sophia. This is another very important room to the story. And we did hear about this from one of the townsfolk. Oh my, what an exquisite portrait! And the beautiful young lady portrayed is quite beyond comparison, too. What is more, this looks rather familiar. What do you think, Faye? Yes, I was just thinking the same thing. The hair is a different color, but the atmosphere or personality about her is exactly the same. What? Hair color? What do you mean? What do I mean? Look! It's the girl I met in the forest! It's Ellie! I mean, there's something about her that's just like Ellie. You don't think so? Yes, now that you mention it, she does resemble Ellie. But that is not what I was talking about. I meant that the brush techniques and overall style used in this picture is similar to yours. Really? Does it? First of all, I'm nowhere near as good an artist. No, it's very similar to your style. But somehow I can sense an atmosphere of sadness in this picture. She is smiling, but in a way gives the impression that she is anxious. Perhaps the picture is reflecting her inner self. Or perhaps it is the inner feelings of the artist being conveyed. Ah, if you look closely, you will notice the painting is not completely finished. The artist put his brushes down when it was near completion. Why is that? I don't know. I don't know, but my grandmother might have known about it. Oh, what if we ask Agnes? She may know something. Alright then, I'll be with Sister Agnes. Well, shall we head back to the town for now? Yes, alright. But this painting has caught my curiosity. Do you mind if I speak to Sister Agnes before we head back to town? Yeah, okay. We'll stop by a room on the way out. Lacan. Something wrong, Faye? You look like you were daydreaming. Huh? No, it's nothing. Just run down the stairs. So you're now out on this balcony, and there is a door right here. The road we must take is out there somewhere, a way out of the confusion we are now facing. The sister sitting diagonally from me is desperately looking for that answer. I think it is very poetic that Nissan, which teaches the beauty of imperfection, the beauty of the fact that humans are naturally imperfect and we have to help each other. I think there's a beauty to the fact that the portrait of somewhere, it must be somewhere, truth that we have not yet come to know. There's a beauty to the fact that the portrait of the founder of those teachings, very devoted, is also imperfect. It's incomplete. It's just that after sneaking into the capital, I started to think about a lot of things. I've come to realize the world isn't right the way it is now. Not that much right. There's a lot of books we can see, but we can't exactly read any of them, unfortunately. This is the only place we've seen a library like this outside of the Ethos. We were told, as far as we know, the Ethos controlled all the cultural documents of the world. We're transcribing scrolls. Scrolls over 100 years old get worn, and so we renew them. It's one of our daily tasks. Why does war never disappear from this world? To me, it is clear that it is meaningless. Perhaps it is our fate to forever be at discord with one another. Here's Agnes and Margie. I wonder what kind of person Sophia was. I would have loved to have met her. I understand you were shown Sophia's portrait. The lady portrayed in that picture is Nissan's great founding mother. Some say that it was painted at least 500 years ago. 500 years ago? Now, that is quite amazing. Personally, I find it intriguing. Do you have any historical material from that period? In our hands, there are no such records left intact. All records and materials concerning Sophia have been lost. The portrait is the only thing left. We too do not have much knowledge about her. That is too bad. So there really is nothing left at all. For someone who has helped Marguerite, I would have loved to have shared them, but unfortunately I am unable to help here. Oh well, none the matter. Please do not worry about it. I was just inquiring. But it does seem somewhat strange. If such a majestic building as this survived history, then it is likely a scroll or two would remain too. According to tradition, Sophia was present about 500 years ago. She sacrificed herself for the people and has been summoned to be with God. That's all I can tell you. I see. So everything was lost in the darkness of history. Alright, so now that we know that, we'll head back into town. This way. Ah! Mason's back. Young master! People of Nissan were most generous to allow us to rent this house, so there will be no need to seek lodgings at the inn for a while. Also, Master Sigurd wishes a word with you regarding your next move, if he may. Alright, so where's Sig? The good Master Sigurd is waiting for you inside. Okay, thanks, Mason. Whenever I come here, it always calms my heart. Anyway, young master, I want to work out what our plans are from here. Alright? Before we do that, there is something I want to ask you. Me? Yeah. Sig, what's up with you and that Gebler officer? What's the connection between you and him? You know, you sure know a lot about Gebler for some reason. Alright, I'll tell you. Me and Saiton here. We used to live in Solaris. Solaris? You mean where Gebler's from? That's right. Solaris calls foreigners lambs. They're used as manual labor. Basically, it's slavery. Slavery? Is that where you met him? Yes, it was there. We worked for the Solaris government for a short while, but we learned to dislike their methods and escaped the first chance we had. You were friends with these people? I met you when I was a kid, and we've been together ever since then. This would have had to have happened even before then. I probably wouldn't have understood this if I had heard it earlier, but why didn't you think I could deal with it now? Surely you could have told me about this. Especially when you had something to do with the people who are backing that Shakan idiot. I wish you told me sooner. There's nothing I can do about that now. But there's one thing I want you to believe. We left Solaris on our own will and for our own reasons. Now they've appeared before us. We can't just sit back and do nothing. If need be, I will give my life to stop them. Alright, I understand, but can you elaborate a little more? So, there's a series of questions we can ask here, and to learn more about Solaris here. What bugs me is this surface dwellers thing. It's as if Solaris is in another location, like up in the clouds or something. Yes, well... Etronach, the capital of the Solaris Empire, is located in the skies above. Solaris is separate from the land by dimensional distortion fields known as gates. Passing between the two requires special means of transportation, such as an airship. To get to Ave, we stowed away on a regular flight to the surface. I came much later than Sigurd did, but I also escaped in the same way. Our lands. That is the word Solarians use to indicate those who live on the Earth. As I said before, such surface dwellers or Earth dwellers are used for manual labor here. Or for manual labor there. Manual labor could be anything from soldiers to administrative jobs. Solaris gathers its workforce from the land dwellers. Jobs are divided up by who is most suitable. Sometimes people are brainwashed. Brainwashed? When you, young master, were still an infant, I was used as a test subject. It's probably something they value inside of me. You too, Doc? No. I was born in the lower city levels. It is not a complete secret. But I guess I am a Solarian. You see, you still need people to run a country. You still need people to run a country. No matter how scientifically advanced you are, you have no support without people. Pure Solarians are rare. They would not even make up a quarter of Ave's total population. So they support their country by stealing surface dwellers. They need a labor force to run the country. Who is that man? His name is Karon Ramses. As you know, he's the Gebler commander. Ramses. We call him Kar. In Solaris, there was an officer training school called Jugend. He became the commander after living there. He is a lower-level citizen, the same as me. However, with his amazing abilities, after graduating, he rose through the ranks with unparalleled speed. That man had one ideal: to achieve a consolidation of all his colleagues. Even land dwellers, if they had talent, were brought into the army. So you two were picked by Ramses? No, we were not picked by him. We aligned ourselves with him. At that time, we agreed with him. At the time, Ramses was our hope. He had high ideals and wanted to change the system in Solaris. To us test subjects and lower-level citizens, he was truly all that we wished for. A benefactor. Yes, even I, a test subject, was changed by his ideals. Why did you leave? Out of curiosity, his gears had the ability to transform. What would the 3 playable gears alts be? The ones we have right now? I guess? I would think like Veltal would be. I guess you can do like jets with Veltal because like you can make the jet engines on the back into that. I'm not sure about the others though. It's not really my area of expertise. So why was it that you wanted to flee from Solaris? We were placed in key military positions by Ramses, and thanks to that we came to know the relationship between Solaris and the surface dwellers. The Lems, right? They weren't just using us Lems for slave labor. They also selected some of us, like me, to be used as subjects in experiments to refine their drugs. Drugs that change people's personalities, to make them more aggressive, and to draw out their latent abilities. They were using us as human guinea pigs to test their psychological alteration drugs. Human guinea pigs? Experimenting on humans? Yes. For example, Drive. That was the drug that we saw those, the people from Gebler who invaded the hideout. They were using Drive. They were taking that drug in order to enhance their battle capabilities, those people in the Gears. That drug, and all others like it that are used now, are byproducts of human experimentation. However, the role of such experimental subjects was not limited to just that. This Drive drug is something that anyone in Solaris Army can use. At least anyone in the Gebler forces who was sent to the surface. You're worried about her, huh? I saw some in her room. No. Anyway, using slaves as guinea pigs. How low are these guys? Damn. I understand. So a lot of lore dump there on Solaris. All that stuff is very important. I think I get most of it. Old Mason, go reserve the town hall for us. We'll finish talking there. I'm going outside to get some air. I should have been honest with him sooner. It's best not to worry about it. You did all you could at the time. The young one will understand. I am sure the young master would never have dreamed of such a tale. I guess you already knew? Well, now that you ask, yes, I did. However, when Sigurd was telling his story, I thought I was best to stay quiet. Please try and help the young master come to terms with all that he has just heard. So, a couple things about all that. Alright? So first of all, we have a larger enemy. You know, it's also playing the Bonds of Sea and Fire again. I love this song so much. This is effectively the main theme of Xenogears. The Bonds of Sea and Fire. And go talk to Bart again. Plays in all these really thoughtful conversations. So a couple things, really quick. We now have like an overarching enemy of sorts. I mean, Shakan, of course, but like we have another enemy here, right? You know that Gebler is either backing or using Shakan. And Gebler is from Solaris, this place that enslaves the surface dwellers, the lambs, makes them into experimental subjects in the labor force. So, a couple things about all of that, really quick. So, lambs. I want to first talk about that name, lambs. So, I discussed, of course, there are parallels with Xenoblade 3. And you may already be able to kind of look ahead at some of the parallels, but bear with me a little bit. So, not only are the names Keves and Agnes, K and A, like, obviously a reference back to Kislev and Ave, but the names Keves and Agnes in Xenoblade 3, sorry. Keves is the Hebrew word for lamb. Agnes is the Latin word for lamb. So, just throwing that out there. So they were kind of laying it on thick with some of the references. They're both used in like religious context, Kevis and Agnes. Couple other things. So Gebler, that name in Japanese, it's Gebera or Gebera. It's kind of a mistranslation, but that's referring to a concept in Kabbalah. It's I'll go over it much later, but there's something in Kabbalah, which is an ancient Jewish mystical tradition called the Tree of Sephirot, which by the way, that's where the name Sephiroth comes from. A lot of Kabbalah is also referenced in Final Fantasy VII. There's a lot of the story of Final Fantasy VII is based on Kabbalah, Judaism. Sephiroth is the namesake of Sephiroth. Tifa Rock, which is one of the rings of the Tree of Sephiroth, is also the basis for the name Tifa. Yeah, but one of those, the reigns of the Tree of Sephiroth, that's a whole other thing I can talk about later, but one of those reigns is called Gebera. That's where Gebler comes from. Anyway, moving on. I don't want to spend too much time on this. And then Jugend. So the training school for the Gebler forces that Citan and Sigurd and Ramses were in. Jugend was the name in Nazi Germany for, it's German for youth. It was the name in Nazi Germany for the youth, like, Nazi training school. So that's what they're referencing there. Anyway, all that being said, let's keep going. I gave you a chance to listen to the music a little bit. I had no idea Sig had such a past. Are you still suspicious of Sigurd? Well, I mean, it was just so sudden. I kind of expected to hear something different, like that we were childhood rivals or something. But that's nothing compared to the story he just told us, is it? So hearing his story has you confused because it was not so simple. There was a time when he was cooperating with one of Gebler's generals. Furthermore, behind Gebler was a country that you had never even heard of. Hey, what are you picking on me for? No, I'm not picking on you or blaming anything on you. What I'm saying is this. If you think about how he feels, then you should see why he could not talk about this with you until now. Looking at the activities of Solaris toward other countries up until now, it has never gone beyond simply maintaining their own empire or self-preservation. And as you have seen, their military force is immense, so Sigurd was probably thinking ahead. First, he was probably concentrating on taking care of the problems here on the continent of Ignis. Once things were settled here, it would give him a stronger foundation to deal with Solaris later, which is a much better plan than rushing it straight into a war he knew he could not win. Quite logical, really. Sounds like you understand one another pretty well. Well, it is not like we are newly acquainted, is it? And we had talked about a lot of things up until we decided to escape from Solaris. Speaking of that, why did you leave? That Ramses guy was supposed to be a star of hope or something, wasn't he? Yes, I certainly thought so at first. But then I realized his way of thinking really was not that much of a change from the previous system. Basically, the only difference was whether they stressed people's rank in class or their skill. The words had changed, but it was still no different from what Solaris itself had been doing up until then. He had no intentions of bringing everyone a better way of life. God damn, I forgot how early on. I knew that this game laid it on thick with the messaging, but like I forgot how early on they do it too. All right, anyway, I'll talk about that in a minute. In other words, he's an elitist. I don't think I can like him either way. I don't think I like him either. So Citan, do you think I can beat Gebler? Why? Are you planning on fighting them? As long as they're working with Shakan, there's no way around it. The way things are going, I'm sure we'll have to fight them sooner or later. I suppose so, but even if we were to defeat the Gebler forces here, there is still Solaris to deal with. If we are not careful, it is possible that we may get involved in a longer war than that with Shakan. Do you not agree that continuing the way we have been going is rather hard on everyone? I think it is time we tried to get help from a great number of people. Can't do everything ourselves, so defeating Shakan is not going to get rid of the likes of Gebler. I know what you're trying to say. To vanquish Gebler, first game I throw, right? You could put it that way. What do you mean, you could put it that way? But then again, maybe it is time I did something about that. So, Yeah, I was kind of alluding to before. Before Ramses, Solaris had a real rigid, and even still, Ramses didn't do a whole lot to change it. Solaris had a real rigid class system. You had the low-ranking peasants who were mostly surface dwellers. They recruited from the surface to be a labor force, and you had the true Solarians who were the higher levels, right? It's a rigid class system, class hierarchy. Ramses wanted to reform it to one based on merit and skill rather than class. But in reality, it's all the same thing. He's still dividing people up and being an elitist. It's kind of similar to feudalism and capitalism. They're kind of laying it on thick with some of that stuff, and it's earlier than I thought they would. We'll talk about that later. I went to the tool shop to borrow a table. The owner said if we need anything for the young master, just ask for it. I'm grateful. When I was a kid, I borrowed stuff from there and got in big trouble. Borrowed? What did you take? A toy boat. I think that's what it was. I put fireworks in it and let it float on the cathedral's lake. I always used to play Navy. That does sound like something Bart would play. I'm not sure, but I think I pretended the lake was the open sea. And I was the fleet commander. Anyway, forget those old stories. We should get started. First, Gebler is the big problem. Yes, Ramses is headed toward achieving its goals. That he is now the commander of Gebler is proof of that. A normal man could not progress so quickly through that country's organization. Now he is presently located here in Ignis. Frankly, the situation is not very favorable. We need to somehow find a weak spot and attack it with all our might. First, let's just concentrate on Shakan. Once he's out of the way and Ave is safe again, we can think about how to deal with Gebler. With our present strength, we should be able to hold off the Royal Guard forces. The problem is how to deal with Gebler in the meantime. They will most likely move at Shakan's request. They're not just gonna sit by and watch quietly. May I have a look there, please? In short, we want Gebler to leave for a while, at least until we are able to take back the royal capital, Vladimir. These are the Gebler units currently in Ave, correct? The Western Guards. Royal Capital Defense Force. And units along the front line at the border with Kislev. There are three main groups. Each is made up of a mix of Gebler and Ave forces. Only two of these are very large. The Royal Capital's defense units and the Kislev border units. The Western Guard along Niason's border are little more than a surveillance team. In order to recapture the Royal Capital, it will be necessary to draw these defense units away from Vladimir. We have some Kislev-made gears, right? Yeah, we captured some earlier. What if we use those gears to make a raid on the Western Guards, here at the border with Nissan? I see. We'll draw them out by making it look like Kislev is invading Ave. The problem is, will attacking the border guards be enough to set the center in motion? To be sure then, Nissan will just have to appear to align with Kislev. If they see it that way, they will certainly make a move. You're saying that you intend to use Nissan as bait? Doc? Shakan is very sensitive to Nissan's and Kislev's actions. If Nissan starts moving, he will probably leave it up to Gebler, but... Of course, I do not wish to do that from the beginning. Looking at the situation, we have to be willing to go that far. First, we infiltrate into the capital. To take out Shakan, we'll have to meet up with our agents already in the city. You're forgetting one thing. The frontline units along Kislev's border. Oh. The main strength of Ave's fleet is the battleship Kafeinzel. It's been in service since the reign of the last king. Because of its firepower, the whole unit is nicknamed the Invincible Fleet. I recall yesterday's intelligence report said that the ship is near the border. Damn, that puts everything in jeopardy. Do not feel so down. I simply wanted you to see the current distribution of force in the area. Even in the worst case that they do come, it will not be such a great problem. What do you mean? I have some additional information about Ave's border fleet. The former Ave Supreme Commander was transferred there. Not really transferred, more like demoted. His name is Vandercom. We saw Vandercom last time. Vandercom? You don't mean the Vandercom that was in Jugend? The very same. Young one, he has not been able to adapt to the change in tactics, particularly following the introduction of gears. He is a man who will never stray from his dependence on large naval guns. You mean he's stubborn? He's all size and no real military power. An excellent target for pirates. Young master, this is not going to be an act of piracy. Just kidding. Actually, the number of gears assigned to the fleet seems to have been reduced. Even with that, how gallant of him to be so self-righteous. He's that much of a musclehead, it'll be fun taunting him. Young master! I know. Anyway, Saiten, do you think he can strike our gear forces? It is not a problem. Even with Vandercom, we have enough forces left to pull off the feint. However, it would not be wise to underestimate our opponents. Well, now that we know what we're up against, here's what we'll do. Here's the full plan in action. Apart from our main unit heading for Bledovik, we must keep the fleet at the Kislev border from returning to the capital. So you're suggesting we have another unit? A few effective soldiers to hold the enemy at bay. A small force is best. Small force? What if Faye leads a group of gears there? Well, Faye, would he be willing to do it? Would he be willing to get involved in violence again? Me? Hold on now. There's no reason to involve you in all this. I'll do it. Yes, let me do it. When do we leave? Are you sure? We've come this far. Hey, we're friends to the end now. Speed is everything. We should do this as soon as possible. Alright, tomorrow! I'm truly grateful, Faye. Saiten. Yeah. There's no way we can lose. No one will die in vain. Well put, young master. Good morning. What's the long face? Not feeling well? Or are you feeling sad about saying goodbye? Or maybe you're just nervous. Shut up, stupid! Don't bug me! Well, it's almost time. Yeah. Is everyone ready to go? I'll be waiting here, so let me know when you are through preparing. Okay. So we're going to be in our gears for a lot of this. So let me check. Just making sure, yeah, we're refueled. He's at 1 HP below 2500. I'm not too concerned about that. Yeah, his Raheem Seitan's gear was the one that was kind of upright. They call it a wild stallion, but it's actually more of a kind of just defensive whatever gear. There's probably something you can do with that for an alternate form. I've been waiting for this day for a long time, taking back the capital. There's still some time until we leave. Why don't you make preparations? There's not really a whole lot of preparations we need to make. Let's talk to Margie really quick. Here's the commune ready to go. You do have this chance to go back to the shop, go back to the gear shop and everything. Bart told me you're helping out with the plan too, so you're caught up in this now as well. Come this far, so I might as well stay to the end. Thanks. I know you do a good job. All right. So we can take this time. We can go back to the gear shop. Got enough healing items. Those won't be too useful for gears, and this whole operation will be done in our gears, so I'm not too concerned. Let's go. So Faye's going to lead his own group of gears to the border. Bart and the rest of them in the Yggdrasil will go raid the capital. Comrades in Nissan will hit the Western Guard in Kislev uniforms as planned. We'll wait for the right moment, then head for the palace in the Yggdrasil. You just said that. Got it. But avoid any unnecessary depths. This especially goes for the Ave troops, and also the people from Gebler. Yes, we understand. Guess I'm going to raise some hell in my Veltal then. We're counting on you. Next time we meet, I won't be able to call you Bart or young master. Maybe your majesty? Cut it out. Bart's fine. Great mother of Nissan. Hey, you know I hate that title. Well, we're out of here. Okay, good luck. Marguerite and Bartholomew. Seeing you two brings my hopes up. Long ago, before the Fatimas of Ave were called Fatima, the royal brothers and their wives oversaw many prosperous reigns and eras. I'm looking forward to the day when, as the great mother of the Nissan sect, you will take your place on the throne as Bartholomew's wife. Yeah, so let's talk about this real quick. We know that's incest. That was a common thing in medieval times on Earth as well. This is of course, Xenogears is a different world, but in the Middle Ages, back in Europe, there was a lot of interbreeding within royal families, so that wasn't an uncommon thing, just kind of throwing that out there. What? Hey, hold on, I hate talking about queens and romance. Bart and I are best friends, and cousins, yeah, and also to be clear, the game only says they're cousins. The lore book confirms they're like fifth cousins. Because there's history to it. They'll go over some of that later. Yeah, just don't worry about it too much. Marriage is the best friendship. Well, Marguerite, at the rate you are maturing into a beautiful woman, I don't think Bart will be able to ignore you much longer. Stop it! You're embarrassing me! This is Matria. We saw Matria earlier. He was in one of the gears when Bart and the Yggdrasil attacked the transport ship that Faye and Seitan were on. Each squad of gears tick off in order from here to avoid being picked up. We'll meet at the Rockies by the border tomorrow at 1200. Got it? Okay. The time has finally come. I'm pumped. Though the warship is outdated, you're only going in as a small unit. It's going to be a tough fight, but you could change Ave's future. I'm counting on you. Leave it up to us, young master. We'll drag Vanderkamp's tail around and around. Right, son? Don't call me son, because you sure ain't my pops. That's another weirdly translated line. I think I actually read the story behind this one. There's a Japanese pun. There's like a Japanese only pun that they used in this line that wasn't really able to be translated, and that was the best they could do. So, I did read the story about that one. Well, young master, we promised to make something out of this battle. It's not the most reassuring leaving quote, but whatever. It'll be alright. Faye, it's odd for me to say this since I'm the one who got you involved, but be careful, okay? You too. If anything happens to me, take care of Margie and them for me. Don't jinx yourself. It's not like you, but I'll take care of them. Don't worry. Okay, the operation is a go. Yeah, I don't know how much of this we're going to end up getting through. It's late. We've spent quite a bit of time in Nissan. We'll see. This cutscene is sick, by the way. The PlayStation, this is sick. PS1 graphics in 1998. Oh, aren't you going to rest up a little? So we play as Citan very briefly here. Mason. At long last, we are heading for Bloodavik tomorrow. Though he is the prince, our young master doesn't know the royal capital very well. I'd always felt that it was an awful pity, but despite that, I tried my best to raise him as crown prince. However, looking back, I might have put too much of the burdens of kingship on him too early in life. It might have been too much for a child with a future like his to handle. I must be the most terrible minder ever. My dear Lord Mason, I hardly think that is right. The young one would have taken the burden off of himself. Would have taken the burden off of himself had he not wanted to bear it any longer. He is a fine man now, far capable of handling any such burdens or pressures. I believe you are the very ones who have given him the strength to do so. Oh, my good Dr. Uzuki. So we can buy weapons and items here. These will actually transfer over to Faye through time and space. Yeah, the perfect for thrusters. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. We don't really need anything. Maybe have service again. Go explore the ship briefly. Professor, we have a big job to do tomorrow. Even if you can't sleep, you should at least lie down. Actually, I'm too excited to go to sleep myself. When the young master becomes a king, I wonder if they'll forget about my bill at the bar in Ave. I may not be so handsome, but I do have a fiancée back home. But my hometown is Kislev. When the young master becomes the king of Ave, I wonder if I'll be able to see her. This is where we rest. Do you want to rest too? Not yet. You know when you want to rest. They're still playing with the cards, yeah. Save. There's gonna be a save point right after this too, so. Right now. Choo choo.
It's too noisy. Is it some kind of festival?
What? Oh, yeah. We've talked to him before. This is the nurse's place. Yep. Infirmary. The young master became the king tomorrow. What would happen to us? I'm tired of being a soldier. I want to start a business or something. If I didn't have this wound. Finally, tomorrow is the day for the blood-blowing, flesh-falling... No, I mean, the blood-boiling, flesh-dancing battle to recapture the capital, right? Man, she just wants to keep her job. And threatened to eat Choo-Choo in many different ways, like that Napon over there. It's not quite that joke. Oh, by the way, I didn't show this, but the just before we got in the elevator, you saw the plant. That's the same plant that guy was saying will grow as Bart grows over the course of the game. And it was planted when he was young, and it is growing as Bart is growing. It grew an extra set of leaves, if you saw that. So it'll grow throughout the game too, as Bart kind of goes through his development arc. I think Bart's character arc is one of the best character arcs in this game. He's one of the more fleshed out characters. All the characters in this game are really well done. Takahashi always does a great job with the cast of characters. Talk to the people in the bridge. My name is Bingo, the apprentice helmsman. Sigurd has been teaching me how to operate the Yggdrasil. Want to see my notes? Sure, I guess. Yggdrasil can be operated just as if you were walking. Oh, it's just how to operate it on the world map. Okay. Until I become a fully fledged helmsman. Sure. What does Franz have to say? I don't care about the rest of them. I just care about Franz. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize that you were there. Want to hear some hot sounds they record? Same thing as usual. Okay. That's too bad. You could have seen the world between the static. Okay, well, let's go rest. Playing as a hidden Minato since he grew his shulk. Are you referencing the YTP thing? Dixon said that the Minato had a hidden Minato. The hidden Minato had a hidden Dixon. The hidden Dixon had a Minato. Wow! It's one of my favorite parts of the YTP. A message spray with it. Are we not supposed to rest? Oh, yeah. Oh, we're supposed to go up on the deck. Okay, that's right. That was a thing, my gosh. It was in the YTP, yeah. Xenoblade YTPs are a gift from God. They're so good. Oh, yeah, okay. This is where we're supposed to go. Art's up here. Thinking about the day to come. Can't sleep. I know that feeling. Why such a glum face? Tomorrow is our first return to your castle in 12 years. Returning to the castle. After we get the royal palace back, I guess I'm going to be the king. I'm not very suited for it, am I? I'll get used to it. Listen, Sig. Yes? I guess it really doesn't matter who the king is, does it? As long as it's a symbol of hope, right? It doesn't have to be me. I was kidnapped by Solaris and brainwashed for use as a human guinea pig. But even they couldn't erase my desire to return home. Then I remembered you and Marguerite, not as the royalty of our country, but as just normal children. I don't care about rebuilding a dynasty. I want to regain this kingdom because it belongs to you, because it's your home. Because it's my home. Yes. For that, we must take Shakan down tomorrow, am I correct? Right. Then let's do it! First, I think you need to take a bath. A bath? You don't look like a king at all. You are facing the enemy's leader, so you must have a noble appearance. Hey, you just said it didn't matter whether I'm a king or not. That is that, this is this. That someone was waiting for you. That one thought, that one thought was all it took for you to regain yourself. You're a great man, Sigurd. Oh, I see what you mean now, Raheem. He's out of control! Stop him! I don't care how, just stop him! This can't be. Ugh. Yeah, that's why I named it the Crimson Knight. What's wrong? You look like you have just had a nightmare. And also, Crimson Knight's the name of the boss theme. That's where they come from. Or Knight of Fire, Crimson Knight. It wasn't that same dream again, was it? No, it was nothing. Car. Peeping is not very becoming, you know. I saw the boy that you are after. I saw the boy that you are after fighting the tournament. I saw the boy that you are after. You are after fighting the tournament. Okay, I saw the boy that you are after fighting the tournament. Got it. I could tell you. I could tell you right away. He resembles you greatly. You used the influence of the ministry to set you up. You used the influence of the ministry to set you up with that man. I don't know what you were up to, but don't you dare think about plotting against me. You stay out of this. Oh, I see the news has already reached you. As usual, you're the first to hear about everything. But don't worry, I won't steal your prized possession. I'll cooperate. Besides, you and I go back a long way. Oh? What's up? No, for a moment I thought I caught some unnatural sounds. We're near the capital. It's probably just some kind of ship from there. But it's not from the surface. It's from under the sand. Under the sand? This is the only sand cruiser in all of Ave. We haven't heard anything about a new ship, even from the spies at Ave Naval HQ. Franz, can you try it again and confirm what it is? I can't catch it again. It could have been a sand whale. But Master, I'm detecting an increase in the use of F-band. That's the Royal Capital's Defense Forces frequency. There, on the surface layer. I'm detecting sounds of anchors being weighed in and engines being activated. The Royal Capital's defense fleet must be departing. We also intercepted a transmission from the patrol at the border with Kislev. They're requesting immediate backup from the Royal Capital. Looks like we've really raised some hell at the border. Alright, we'll start. Ready the shuttle boats. When we land, hide the ship. Young Master, I have an awfully bad feeling about this. Do be very careful. It's alright, old Mason. What? This little girl's our commanding officer? She said she said to be an elite from out of Yugen. She returned single-handedly from the Kislev infiltration operation. And empty-handedly, I hear. No souvenirs for the commander, huh? Yep, what a pretty face. She's not the soldier type. You there, is that how you address a superior officer? Remember your rank. Oh, sorry. Haha. We don't care much for rank, and we don't care much for rank either. But just because you're beautiful doesn't mean you have to be cocky. Oh, this jerk's just jealous. What? I'm much prettier. How could I be jealous? Hey, shut that perv up. He gives me the creeps. That's how it is, so don't get in our way, Miss Lieutenant. Anyway, let's just get this thing moving. Can't tell what I can do just by looking at it. What kind of machine is this? I've never seen it before. It's a new model gear called Vierge. That's for officers' use only. It said that people with normal mental power can't operate it. So she's still a Yugen, regardless of having no ability? Huh, this looks like fun. Let's see what she can do. Vierge is French for virgin, by the way. That's where that name comes from. Okay, so we're along the mountains. We're in the mountains on the border with Kislev. Head for the mountain peak. There's no time to waste. Deploy! Okay, so we're going to be following Phase Squad for a little while here as they try to intercept the border fleet. Can we talk to them? Don't really say anything. Just kind of wandering around here. Yeah, you can do some random encounters. I think you need to take a bath. A bath, Sigurd? You don't look like a king at all. That's not happening. To the sand I go. Jumps into the sand to avoid taking a bath. These are those Medusoids that seem enemies you saw in the Stalactite Cave. They aren't really worth fighting. I guess I'm kind of wasting my fuel by fighting them, but that's what I do. Let's do some exercise here. Okay, so I know there's a chest before we go into the cave. I know there's like a chest like that. Random encounters the whole way. These are not worth fighting. Just escape. Are these gears Vierge? Well, that's the gear that she's getting in now. Extra armor plus 2. That I guess I can go ahead and equip. Okay, I think that was the chest I was trying to get. I don't think there's anything else along these little cliffs here, so I'm just going back down. Oh, can I... Up. No! Friggin' platforming. This isn't even the bad platforming dungeon. Go away. I'm gonna fight you. I mean, I don't want to spoil everything, Raheem, but yeah, it'll be a permanent one. Well, whatever. I'm not gonna just spoil stuff. Basic, for all intents and purposes, yes. Vierge is Ellie's permanent gear. Frickin' hell. Oh, this is a fixer bot. I mean, I don't really need to be fixed. Escape. We'll see Vierge again pretty soon. You can do that. A lot of random encounters, as per usual. This is a new enemy. I actually forgot what this is called. Edelweiss. That's a reference to mythology. Edelweiss was, those are mythological snakes. I forgot what mythology that's from, but I know it's one of the mythologies. Edelweiss is a thing. It's like almost the equivalent of like what Ophion is in Greek mythology. Here's the cave entrance. Okay, so this is where we need to go. Not going to see VRG at this rate. No, it'll be close. This dungeon is not very long at all. It's just trying to navigate through the mountains so we don't get seen. So if we were to fly outside, we'd get seen by the border fleet. There's not much of a reason to fight most of these enemies either. I guess maybe just get a little bit of experience, but like, I want to save my fuel. You honestly really don't need to grind in this game. That's one of the good things I'll say about this gameplay. You don't really need to grind in Xenogears much at all. The only thing you need to grind for, I should specify, you don't need to grind for levels. The game pretty well paces you to where you're around the level you need to be at any given time. We're actually a little over leveled, I think. Because usually I'm around like the 20s by this point in the game. Like the early 20s. Or 22. I guess that fits, but maybe not. Rosel S. So the one thing you don't need to grind for levels. The only really purpose to grinding in Xenogears is death blows. And you can get through the game very easily without getting all the death blows. You do not at all need to unlock all the death blows. It's kind of overkill, honestly. But it is a great incentive to go ahead and go get all the death blows because they all look really cool. And that's going to be a goal of mine throughout this playthrough, as I want to unlock all the death blows. They all look awesome, especially the later ones. Oh, so, since we got a new death blow last time, we can now get to attack level 2, and we can now do his square gear death blow, Hazan. So I didn't get to do it there. What about gold? Sometimes, I mean, if you just... Okay, here's the thing. If you just get the engines, like the gear engines, like if you ignore... Maybe get the frames too. Like if you are up to date on your gear engines and frames, then you really don't need to buy anything else for your gear. Everything else after that is just insurance. Like getting like a magnetic coat or like that kind of thing. And if you fight enough enemies... Like, you should have enough gold for keeping up to date with whatever engine or frame your gears need at any given time. It's not that terribly much. But there are definitely times later on in the game where there are like multiple different options for engines and frames. Like, there are more expensive options that, you know, may have more HP. You can be a little more overpowered if you have more gold. So that's probably another worthwhile thing, but we really don't need to grind for experience at all. Really, death blows and gold, I would say, are like the only two things that you could ever really justify grinding for, and you really don't even need to grind for gold that much. Late game, now the end game, yes. End game Xenogears has a lot of crazy side quests and crap that require a lot of gold. This is a repair bot. These are usually stationed in gear dungeons. So you can buy gear parts, character items, can't trust you. This is a place where you can refill your gears. Before like a boss fight. Fuel hasn't been that much of a problem in the few gear dungeons we've had up to this point. Later on, it will start to be a problem because there are some longer gear dungeons later on, and you will definitely need to try to conserve fuel. These first few, we've only had like the stalactite cavern, and now this one, so not too bad. Oh, one more. I'll just go away and go to this fight. I don't want to use any more fuel. Faye, get her here unit. What? Let me handle this. But we don't have time. We're wasting time here. Bart's team is already on their way to the castle. Hurry! Roger. Gear, don't tell me it's Faye. Hey, is that him? The guy from before? Yep, that's him, alright. Good, it's time for a rematch. Don't fall behind, sister. You're in the way. Why don't you stay over there and watch? Yeah, we can take care of these guys on our own. Sorry about this. Get out of the way. All of you, hold! I haven't given out any orders to attack yet. Okay, I gotta fight these guys again. This time only with Faye. I'm going to say booster mode, because I don't want to go into it right now. We have a kind of a series of fights coming up. I'll save my fuel for that. Enough. There we go. Jet mode foot Vierge with thrusters in the back. Yeah, probably. Vierge is also designed has a design that's pretty similar if you look at it again, like Neo's Ouroboros. Especially if you look at the facial features, same as Veltal and Noah's Ouroboros. I guess these death blows are a little overkill. I should probably conserve my fuel a little bit more. Guys only seem to have like 500 HP. Armor loss. Yeah, as you can see on the side, armor loss 40%. Probably just do these X attacks. I may probably should do more actually, but I'll do a level 2 death blow to the Aegis Knight and take that one out. Just tap this guy with this. No, not dead. You can always cancel before you go into a death blow. Spend it, yep. Die. There you go. No? Come on. You do 9 damage. Yeah, the Aegis Knight just blocks their attacks. Has a higher block rate. No? You kidding me? You know what? You don't have to deal with this anymore. It's on to you. Wasn't even... Claw Knight built different, yeah. Probably just should have taken out Claw Knight first. At least I'm dodging his attacks enough. That's the magnetic code at work. Die. I get you. There we go. Okay. I'm at 920 for fuel. I think there's one other, maybe one more repair bot before I get to like the real long stretch of fights. We have one more fight here too. This one's hardly. Vince, Helm, you two okay? Why am I losing to a lamb? Something's wrong, way wrong.
Vince, get a hold of yourself!
Oh yeah? I just need more! I need more drive! Drug addicts. I can't do it. I can't fight Faye, but... The only thing left is to use the drive. But... We're seeing that flashback again. You have no recollection? There were no records on mental enhancement drug use up until now, and it was sudden. She's probably a type that can't handle the drive. That probably caused her to lapse into delirium. And her loss of self-control? You mean an unconscious burst of pent-up antipathy? But everyone has that. This is like a trial, people deliberating. Is that why the innate ability is so high? Yes. What did the commander call those girls again? It's probably higher than they are. And it's an instantaneous jump in numerical value. We can't use her as a test subject in front of Eric. It's a pity we can't manage it, since there is so much potential. We'll leave you to the burrow. Stay at your residence until further notice. Don't worry, you have power worthy of the Chosen Ones. It's those weak people's fault for not being able to withstand your powers. There were people trying to chase her and make her use the drive. She took it, and then she just completely murdered them. This was from her time at Jugend.
Don't! Any more drive and you'll waste your mind!
I don't care. I'm already messed up as it is. Stop this now, Vance. I'll handle it. That voice! Ellie! Ellie, is that you? Faye, what are you doing? You shouldn't be here. Alright, we're having to fight Ellie. She did say that the next time that we fought, we'd be encounter would be as enemies. Ellie, your face! What's wrong? Don't tell me you're using that personality-changing drug that Bart told us about. It has nothing to do with you. And would you quit trying to be so friendly?
Well, did you see that? Those were errands!
Errands? Animum Ether Response Offensive Drones, commonly known as ARIDS. Within Gebor, there are only a handful of people capable of using them. From what I hear, it should only be people from the Elements class. But isn't that, like, a side effect of the drive? It's no big deal, right?
No, the drive can only draw upon the potential that already exists in her. You're looking at the real thing, boys.
Ellie, stop it! Why must we fight? Why? It's obvious. It's divine providence. We are the chosen people, the able. Our purpose of existence is to subordinate the earth-dwelling lambs. Those who stand in our way must be eliminated. Ellie, snap out of it! Your emotions are being controlled by that drug! This is my true nature. There is no other. It's a lie. You once felt responsible, blaming yourself for causing the incident in Lahan by landing there. You were considerate of me when I was troubled. The real you would never say something like that. You talk as if you would know, yet you know nothing. Ha ha ha! Writhe, dance, die in rotten obscurity here! Ellie, must I fight you? She has her own death blows. Damn! Damn on him. Arids again. So, both Faye and Ellie seem to be alike in the fact that they have, specifically when they're in their gears, they have a weird untapped power that when their emotions get heightened, they release. Something kind of interesting. We can't heal, by the way. This only restores gear defense. We can't actually heal our HP, so we kind of struggle to do this. Oof. Faye released that power whenever he was fighting Calamity with Bart down in the Stalactite Caverns. And I guess whatever happened in Lahan. The gear malfunctioned. Oh, come on. Oof. Okay. Repu. He's going up to attack level 1, I don't even care. I should have put myself in booster mode, that's what's going on here. Okay, here we go. Alright. It looks like it's over for you. I'll put you out of your misery now. Fear not. In return for treating me so kindly, I will kill you painlessly. Farewell, Faye. My head. What happened? There's something wrong with Ellie. I can probably stop her now. Ellie, wake up and snap out of it! Ugh, silence, impertinent fool! I will not listen to a lamb. That's not true. No, I don't want this. Ugh. Are you okay? Ellie, what? Are the effects of the drug wearing off? Is that it? Ellie, is that what's happening? Shut up! I've no need for outward appearances of compassion. I... This isn't me. Hang in there, Ellie. Don't let go of your true self. No! Ellie! Ellie, why? I warned you. I said the next time we met we'd be enemies. But there's no reason for you to do this to yourself just so you can fight. There's no reason for you and I to fight. None at all. There was no other choice. I'm a Solaris officer. I can't turn my back on my unit, the mission. Why did you have to use the drive? I didn't want to. When I use it, I change. I feel like I'm dominated by some unknown power that I never wanted. There's a power in me that I don't want to admit. But I want to protect my allies, so I had no choice but to use the drive. Ellie, you're the same as me. The same? Probably. I felt I knew you ever since I first met you. Probably because our problems were so similar. I'm here for you. It may not be much, but at least I can relate to how you feel, Ellie. What? Are you saying we lick each other's wounds? No, that's not... Well, I guess I am. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not being fair, am I? No, I'm just pessimistic sometimes. But even so, it's better than worrying about it by yourself. Faye. You won't change your mind? Please, don't look so sad. I have no choice. It is my only home. I have to go. My friends are waiting for me. If you can, get out of the army, Ellie. That look doesn't suit you at all. Gotta hurry. Alright, so back in the cave. Ah. We're in an awkward position. Yeah, it is kind of an awkward position there. You can probably see here where inspiration... Oh, don't do this to me. Okay. Where inspiration was taken for that moment when Theora was trying to break out of Egil's mind control in Galahad Fortress in Xenoblade 1. It's kind of a similar vibe, that moment. And Theora inside of Mayneth is trying to cry out to Shulk, but she can't quite reach out to him. It's that same kind of vibe. Alright, so all fueled up, all healed up. Let's save. So, alright, here's my conundrum here. This is the last save point for about an hour and a half of cutscenes. Roughly. So... Jeez, we didn't get to the part I really wanted to get to. All the stuff we saw today is great, but we didn't get to the character. The Crimson Knight, so to speak. Ugh. Can't show me back on the mission. That sounds like Metal Gear Solid 3. I wouldn't know. I haven't played it yet. Whew. Okay. I also don't know when my roommates are getting back. They're probably gonna come in and like start hooting and hollering or whatever. Okay. I'll be safe. I'm going to end the stream here. Next time we'll resume. Sorry about that. Stopping before some really good parts. And I'm going to rename the stream instead of Crimson Knight, since we didn't get to Crimson Knight. Well, we saw a flashback, but we didn't quite get there. I'm going to go into Creator Studio here and edit the title for the stream when it goes up in the VOD. All right, what should the stream title be? I'll let y'all decide. Let's see. I'm trying to think of like other big names. Like oh, okay, I got it. One-winged angels. This is the start of. I'm sorry, I can't actually see all that. Start of the plan. The plan to take the throne. Yeah. So we're gonna catch up with. We're gonna intercept the border fleet next time. That was everything we did today was kind of the setup for that. But next time, Faye and his squad are gonna intercept Vanderkam's border fleet, and then we're gonna catch up with Bart and the others and how they're doing infiltrating the capital. Yeah, we're gonna call this stream One-Winged Angels. One-winged angels plural. One-winged angels. So the next one we'll call Crimson Knight. I like that. Okay. So I now rename the stream. And okay, so those settings should be saved. All right, so next time. So that means when one-winged angel planes, there will be an echo. Multiple one-winged. It's a one-winged angelception. Yeah. So next time, I'm going to be actually going through with the bulk part of the plan. Main reason I just don't want to get caught up in cutscenes and have to stop. And actually, we won't have a time to stop, actually. I know for a fact I can't stream tomorrow. I cannot stream tomorrow. I probably cannot stream Sunday either. I'm going to have to find some time next week. It's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. All right. We hit the 2 hour mark. I'll see y'all when I stream next. We'll be introduced to one of my personal favorite characters.